Welcome to Always Analog, where we celebrate the beauty of analog technology in the digital world. Today we're going to look at a typewriter, and in this case the example we have today is a 1947 Royal Arrow portable typewriter, and here it is. So Royal, of course, had a variety of models at different price points, and this would have been among the post-war models, and they, I think, sold quite a few of these. It was certainly a demand. Production ceased during World War II, so people were looking for new typewriters and a lot of other new things after the war. And so while the Arrow was not the top of the line model, it wasn't, I don't believe, the bottom of the line either. It was sort of mid-range. But it did have a number of nice features. So let's take a look at this. Generally would come, I don't have a case for this. I bought this without a case. I have another one that's in a case somewhere here, and it's a black square case, but the typewriter itself is sort of a crinkle dark gray or light black, whichever way you want to look at it, matte finish. And again, a lot of companies use these matte finishes because it was found to reduce glare, which could be irritating or distracting to the typist. And so that is the finish here of this typewriter. But I'm going to zoom in a little bit to see if it will pick up. It has a black band that goes around the top where the lid comes down. In some of the fancier or more expensive models, this would have been chrome. In this case, it's black. Still nice looking, and it provides a contrast with the dark gray body paint. Let's do a side look here. We have our return arm with an up swing finger lever. You can see here we have a line here that follows the keyboard harness around. You can take a look at the back here a little bit more closely. Let's see if we can zoom in there and see. Royal Typewriter Company, New York, made in the United States of America. Protected by American and foreign patents. And here's the right side of the machine. You know what? A handsome typewriter, nicely designed. And the keyboard, let's see, before we look at the keyboard, let's look at some of the control levers here, since we're right here on the front. This one is a left-right, and that's your ribbon reverse. This one is your color selector for your ribbon. Blue dot in the middle, red to the left and your white stencil, which you actually you can't slide over like this. It locks. You have to actually depress the button and slide it over so you don't inadvertently put it to stencil. you have to make an effort to do that. The keys are round, glass topped, stainless trimmed with the rings around, and you can see you have the curved space bar. Standard keyboard, really, in this case. Nothing out of the ordinary. Your margin release is over here on your right. Your backspace is all the way up on your left. Lock. And then you have your shift keys, which are square, which are the only two non-circular keys on the keyboard. And not only do they say, I don't know if you might be getting some glare, but they say shift freedom. Shift freedom. Well, what's all that about? Well, this is, you can see when I'm shifting, shift freedom, the carriage doesn't shift as in earlier models, but rather the basket shifts down, making it a really light touch to shift rather than lifting the heavy carriage. And so that was something that they kind of bragged about for some time, although a lot of other manufacturers were doing it. By the way, this one in the center is a touch control. Lighter, harder, minus, plus, or somewhere in the center. And you could just adjust that according to your personal preference. We'll take a look here at, I'm going to move in a little bit closer. Let's take a closer look at the carriage controls here. So it is a magic margin, as Royal was famous for. However, on the Aero, you only got the magic margin on the left margin. You'll see there's no magic margin lever on the left or on the right margin, only on the left. Well, why is that? Well, if you wanted one on each, you can buy the Quiet Deluxe. You can buy the upper model. On the Aero, you just got it on the right, which for a lot of people, depending on how you type, might be the only margin that you change with any regularity. However, you could change the right margin quite easily. The back paper table slides up, and here is our depress and slide. Here is our margin set for the right side of your paper. And of course, we know the magic margin, currently set at 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, say we want to put it at 15. Then we just depress this. Now, normally you would hear something. Here's what happens. Whoop, I'm sorry, I didn't have the camera on it. Set it, and you simply pull this forward, and it would set the margin. But here's what happens with, you can see with some of these older machines. Let me reset the margin to 10. Now we want to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to set it at 15. When I pull this forward, that should slide over, and it doesn't. You got to hit it a few times. See it jumping over now? Because what happens in time is that spring is so tired and stretched out, it doesn't have the tension anymore. So you kind of got to do it that way. Now you can press and slide this manually also if you want. But that's what happens with the magic margin. The springs get weak over time and lose their tension. I could re-spring it, but you know what? It's more work than I want to do. And again, it's not a margin I change that often. So here you have this lever here. Let me bring this down a little bit so you can see what's going on. This will release, it's a squeaky one, isn't it? This will release the platen. This, I believe that's your line spacer. And this only gives you one or two, single or double space option. Over on this side, again, we don't have the magic margin. It's a manual. So the only thing you have here is your paper release. And you'll see when you pull this forward, what happens is this lifts the paper bale and releases the tension holding the paper against the platen, so you can pull your paper out. So, of course, you have your Arrow nameplate on the back designating the model that you got. So, this is the Royal Arrow. The ribbon's probably a little dry, but we're going to try to do some typing with it anyways. Okay, let's do a quick little typing test. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that ribbon is dry. So it's probably looking a little faint, but there you have it in pica. And, you know, overall a good typewriter. I would say that these Royals are okay. Honestly, the keys, these round keys, are not super comfortable. They are pretty enduring, but I don't think they're real comfortable to type with. And the typewriters are of good manufacturing quality, but there are probably other portables that I like a little better than this, honestly. But it is a nice machine. Certainly nice looking, but you know, function and form need to sort of always work in harmony. So it's just a great specimen from the immediate post-war era. Again, it's a good typewriter, and I don't use it often, but when the kids come on a field trip, this is one that they tend to gravitate towards, and they enjoy using this. So that's good. So thank you for spending some time with me as we went over this 1947 Royal Arrow portable typewriter. Please share, like, and subscribe if you're into what we're doing here. And I look forward to seeing you again real soon here on Always Analog.